Welcome back to the new playlist of Data Engineering Mastery. This is a new playlist where the oldest one was about mathematics of thinking, where we discussed about algorithms and maths. Well, within this new playlist, we'll be talking about real production pipelines, real problems, real fixes, real failures. And yeah, and by the way, I am launching a Python formation. If you wanna subscribe, you can fill in the form within the description. And yeah, without further ado, let's get started. So within this video, we'll be creating a pipeline using Microsoft's Azure portal. We'll be having a Python script that will be generating data for us. Then we'll be uploading the raw CSV into the Azure Blob storage, and then we're going to use the Azure Data Factory for moving data. And yeah, that's the moral of this video is going to be. So first of all, we're going to head into Microsoft's Azure portal. So in here, I already created my resources and stuff, so you will be doing the same here. So you're going to create a resource group like this. You go into here, resource group, and create. Then you follow the steps. You're going to choose your subscription, give it a name and stuff, then click submit. In my case, I already created the resource group, which is called the ETL demo. And after that, you are going to create the storage account. So it's the same. You're going to create the storage account like this. A storage account, you're going to click on create, then you're going to select the resource group that you have created to associate it with it, subscription, give it a name, and you have to choose here the LRS, which is the cheapest one. You don't need the other redundant storage stuff. And you're going to click on create. I've already done that. So here's my resource group, and here is my storage account. Now you're going to go to the storage account, and you're going to create two containers, and you're going to do that by going to data storage, here container, and you're going to create add container, give it a name. So we have created one called raw and one called processed, just for the sake of this example. Then for the raw container, we will have to upload the data. So if you have the data within a CSV, you're going to hit upload, and then you're going to upload your file. For my case, I don't have a file, so for that I have generated a Python script that does that for me, which is in here. So here is the Python script that does that. I'm using pandas, numpy, and Azure blob service client, and then I'm using the .env to get my credentials from the env file. I'm going to show you how to get your credentials from the Azure portal. The idea here is that first of all, you have to install the packages that you're going to need. So I already did that, but I'm going to show you the prompt, which is pip install. We're going to need Azure Storage Blob, Azure MGMT, Data Factory, Azure Identity, Pandas, and NumPy. So for my case, as I said, I already installed them, so they already have them. And you're going to need also the .env package to get the credentials that you have stored within the env file. As we talked before in the previous videos, it's the better way to not hard code your credentials within the file that you're going to push to the Git directory. So that's the case in here. So now after running this script, I'm going to clear first of all the terminal, then Python generate data.py. So it's going to create the data into the row container that I have in here. So that's the data that I have. So this is how you get your data into the container of row container. And now we're going to go as well and create the ADF, which is Azure Data Factory instance, by creating a tab in Azure Data Factory. And you're going to create Data Factory. I mean, it's the process. I mean, it's easy. You're going to create it, and you're going to same link it to the resource group you have created and stuff. And for here, for Git, it's, I mean, preferable to just configure it later. There is no need to configure it now. And hit create, then launch studio. When you do that, I already have it. It's going to give you this interface like this. So it gives you another into another page. So that's the interface that you will be having. And if you go to the resource group, okay, so I'm going just to cancel this. I mean, it was just for the sake of the explanation. So in here, we'll have our data factory set, and you're going to click Launch Studio after it finishes. So now within the factory, we will go to let me see, in here. So in manage, we're going to create linked services. For this, we will, like, I already did this, so I'm going to show you how. So you're going to create click on new, then you're going to search for Azure Blob Storage, which is in here. So for my case, I already give it a name. So the first one, like, you will call it, for example, ls blob ETL, for example, as I did in here. And then you're going to I mean, just for the authentication, just from Azure subscription, you're going to give it the storage account name that you have already. It's going to load the key for you. So nothing special in here. Hit create, and it's going to create the link for you, as I already have in here. So I'm going just to cancel this. I already have it. So within here, this is my linked connection. So if I click on test connection, it's going to give me successful, which is good. So now we're going to go to the going to go to the pipeline. So let me just cancel in here. And now going to datasets within pipeline, and you're going to create a new dataset. For my case, I just created them, but I mean, I'm going to show you how. Same thing here. You're going to search for Azure Blob Storage, like this. And now you're going to click on delimited text, because we have like CSV file, and you're going to click continue. And in here, you're going to select the linked service we created just now, and it's going to give you like the file path for our raw CSV database. I'm going to select the file that was generated by the Python code, which is in here. Then click on OK, and everything is good. You're going to give it a name. This is the dataset that we'll be using within our pipeline, because we're going to use an activity which is called copy data, which is going to copy the data from the source to the sink. And in this case, the source is the raw CSV file that we have created, and the sink is going to be the destination, the output data set that's going to be the result and the output after making like transformations and stuff. And that's the idea of all of this. So I'm not going to do that because I already created it. And we're going to do the same for creating the data set of the sink. So create data set, and in this case, for this processed data set in here, when you create a new data set, I mean Azure Blob Storage, you will have to for this one we will use it, the first row as a header. I mean this one. So for the import schema, you have to select none because it doesn't have a schema. You will be using the mapping field within the pipeline. So that's the thing that you have to add in here. You're going to give the name that you want to have for your output file. So we're going to cancel, and that's all in here. Now within the pipeline, you go to create a new pipeline, and within here pipeline, you look for copy activity, then you drag it in here as I did already. And when you go to the copy, you go to the source, you select your data set in here, file path and stuff. This is just like the random and the default parameters. And for the sync, you're going to choose the pre-processed data. In here mapping, you're going to import the schema, and it's going to give you the schema like this. So in here you can make your transformations, you can reorder, you can like change types and names and stuff. And then when you finish, this is like, you can click on debug and it's going to run the pipeline for you, and that's it. So that's the idea behind it, and you can watch it run live, and it gives you like the status of the running pipeline. And the idea again here is that you can use the Azure SDK to run the pipeline using your code from, like locally, just by importing, as I already specified, the Azure package, and then like using your Azure subscription ID and Azure tenants ID, Azure client ID. I'm going to show you how to get these things here. Then you're going to run your code, and it's going to be running and execute the pipeline for you. And for verifying the output, you can like run the code in here, and what's going to basically do is that it's going to give you the output of your data after the pipeline runs. So this is the thing that you can do for the env file. It's going to be like within this format, so I'm going to hide the credentials because are mine, but I'm going to show you how to get your own credentials. So let's go to the portal. So first of all, we're going for so for Microsoft Entra ID, you're going to Microsoft Entra ID, and here is your tenant ID in here. And then you are going to so let me check what else do we have within the file. We have okay, we're going to need also the Azure storage connection string. So for that, we are going to here, and I guess we're going for access keys in here and security and networking. And this is your connection string. You click show, and you're going to copy it. And for the remaining two keys that we have in here, the client for the subscription as well, you're going to have it by like searching for subscription. And here is your subscription. You can just go to the it's in here. This is the subscription ID you have. And regarding these two things, that client ID and Azure client ID, we will have to create add another step, which is like create a service principal setup for the trigger pipeline, which is we're going to have to go to the Python portal, and we're going to Azure portal. We're going to go to the Azure Microsoft Entra ID in here, and we're going to create a new app registration, which is I already did. So in here you're going to give it a name and stuff. So for my case, I already created one, so I'm going to look for it. Where do I? My feed. Anyway, so we are going to So I'm going to create an application, so add a registration. You're going to give it a name, for example, SP, wherever. Then you're going to register, and so after the creation, you will have here the client's ID, which is in here, and then for the certificate or secret client, you will be having add a certificate, and we'll be adding a new one. So for example, I have added one just arbitrary, and here you're going to copy the value and not the secret ID. This is the thing that you have to pay attention to it before you get into it, and that's it. So that's the value that we'll be putting into the Azure client secret. And okay, you have also to add one other step, which is you have to go to the resource group here into the data factory you have created. Go to the access control, and you have to add like a role assignments. For my case, I already have one, which is one that I created for the application that I had assigned, and you're going to search for data factory contributor data. Here before you're going to have create add role assignments, and you're going to look for data factory contributor, and it's this one. Then you will be assigning it into your application. So you'll be selecting a member in here, and you're going to look for the application that you have created, and you will be assigning this to it and review and assign. And that's the step that you have to take in order to make things works. So that's it for our video in here. And after you finish everything, you need to make sure that you clean your resource group, so that you don't if you are just testing within the free Azure instance that it gives you for 13 days. Don't forget to clean your resources. And that's it. Thank you so much for your attention.